Welcome to the Herb and Rick Social Hour. We invite you to sit back, relax, and enjoy the ponderings and musings of Herb Reed and Rick Hammond as they explore various and sundry topics, ideas, and experiences. We join this week's conversation already in progress.
Hold up. All right, kick it off. Here we go. You're going to start off with an apology.
Rick, I do owe you for the other day. We had time, plan to get together for another podcast, but your buddy went unconscious.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, we were scheduled to hook up, and I'm like, he's gone AWOL on me.
I'm sorry, Rick.
3 days later, you surface.
I had one of my episodes with my back. Okay.
Yeah. You're getting old, Herb.
Old age, antique, whatever you want to call it. But
Antique.
But yes, I had full intentions. I had a little night, and I said, well, I need to take. I took one of my muscle relaxers, and Rick, everything else is a blur. And I think, while I'm sitting over there.
Are you real sensitive to pain medications and stuff? Is that what you're telling me?
Some of it, I am, because I had to, back and stuff, especially the muscle relaxers, Rick, because it took me into a different. It didn't take me nowhere but unconsciousness. And while I'm sitting over there knocked out, and you calling me
on mushrooms, and a shaman shows up and all of that kind of stuff,
shrooms and stuff,
and you're out and
I won't actually try the shrooms to pay. I've seen enough people.
Oh, I bet you have.
And talk about it, and it's either going to turn bad or it's going to turn into a nightmare. Majority of them with those shrooms turn into a nightmare, end up crying with big dilated pupils, shaking.
Who signs up for that? Who says, yeah, this could go really south? I'm going to pop this in my system.
I want to see if I'm end up in a nightmare. I'm going to end up in fantasy land somewhere, but most of them end up in a nightmare situation.
Yeah, and you have to get them out of it, right? Being
just
paramedic.
Rick is no getting them out of it. It's just going to have to take its toll. They're going to have to ride that nightmare out, buddy. All we can do is just sit there and give them that comfort or care and just watch them and listen to it. They're in their own world, buddy. It's no...
You ever thought about videoing that?
Dude,
you'd probably get sued up and down the street.
Confidentiality, yes. So all I can do is just photograph
Does that fall under HIPAA?
Yes, it does. That's the HIPAA law.
That's right.
HIPAA
Health
law.
Insurance Portability. What is it?
It's HIPAA law.
Yeah.
So you got to respect, privacies. But... It's quite an experience and entertainment.
Like, what would be one of the wildest things you ever heard from somebody who was jacked up on that?
Well, let's just say shrooms. I had a guy who, like I said, went back into the beginning of time, Adam and Eve, when the world was first, created. He was hanging out with Adam on this island, and Eve wasn't nowhere to be found. It was just hanging out, me and my buddy Adam, and he kept looking at the screen. The screen was beautiful, this nice little island in woods, and he was waiting on his buddy to show up. But this guy, lucky for he ended up in a good place. He was happy. He was not sad. He was not scared.
Sounds like paradise.
Yes, he was.
So
actually, he was in paradise
something?
at one time, I guess, before the sin started. Yeah, he was happy. He was happy, so to speak. But
yeah, that's amazing. I don't envy you for that. That's got to be a non-fun job to.
Well, like I say, you want to help people, but you get you entertained. But you want to make sure we make sure they're safe and taken care of, not
right
harmful to themselves or other people. But just listen to stuff.
So how long does that kind of last? You guys are on the clock the whole time waiting for them to come down or something.
No, we just spend a little 15, 20 minutes with them, and then they get turned over to the hospital.
Oh, okay.
So to speak.
I guess that makes sense.
But to ride it out, But like I said, just listen to some of these people, and just like I said, it's the first thought that they said to come to your mind. Either you're going to end up in a good place, or you're going to end up someplace you don't want to, and you're going to end up crying, or you're going to smile the whole time.
So now with you tweaked your back, and you had back pain, so you got prescribed muscle relaxer.
Oh, man,
and
that stuff,
the
Rick.
scheduled Herb and Rick Social Hour show did not come off because I couldn't find my buddy Herb. I didn't know you were.
The reason Rick couldn't find his buddy Herb, he went unconscious after thinking he was going to take some muscle relaxers and just relax for a couple hours. It ended up being about 8 hours, Rick. I had 2 phone calls.
Some of the best sleep you had.
It was dark, and poor Rick was hearing crickets chirp, 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 and his buddy couldn't be found. I had all the recording
gear lit up and ready to roll.
Rick and I apologize about that. I've had issues with this back, and now, like I say, just spur up every now and then, and like I said, it just happens, and I apologize once again.
That's quite all right.
The world of medicine. Wow.
Yeah, the world of meds. And you are versed in it. You know kind of what's going on with the different things. So do you ever get prescribed something and you go, you know what, this is going to this has a tendency to put me on my butt. I'm just going to cut it in half and take half.
It is, Rick. I mean, a lot of this stuff like opiates and stuff like that, it's so different. Like I say, things like that you try and steer away from because you sort of like that euphoric feeling, the thing that gets you with the party, so to speak.
Right.
But things like you got to be careful with it. And so I try
So like, you ever got prescribed cough medicine with codeine? I had that one time.
Yeah, but the hydrocodone and stuff too, and that stuff sends you to a little loopy world also.
I was trying to forget.
Yeah,
you guys got access to all kind of craziness.
A little loopy world every now and then, but yeah, it's one of those things. Like I say, I try not to take any of that stuff unless it's absolutely needed.
Well, you went and got cortisone shots, and you're doing better, right?
Yes, the cortisone shots, they do well. It takes several hours for it to kick in, but when it kick in,
yeah. When I talked to you, when you called me, you had just gotten the shot and it hadn't kicked in.
Hadn't kicked out. I'm still sitting there breathing like a woman in labor.
You did.
Oh, Rick, I'm sorry. Oh no, I'm just sitting here in pain. I'm hurting right now, Rick.
I should have said, breathe. Get some hot water. We're going to give birth over here.
Yeah, I sound like I was about to give birth, Rick. I felt like it, too. I mean, it was just one of those hung up things. And finally, when that thing kicked in, Rick. Hello. Yeah. And like I say, today, I feel so much better. As you can see, at least.
You got a slight limp when you walked up, but that's about all I could tell.
I came up walking like Sanford and Son with that little severe lip, but I didn't have a cane. I didn't have a walker.
What are you talking about?
That's true. That's true. But I still had that little lip where I had to.
What was his wife's name? He'd always yell, "I'm coming."
Was it Louise?
Louise, I'm coming. No, it wasn't Louise. Wheezy.
No. Wheezy.
Was it? No, that was,
no.
George Jefferson. That was her. Good time. No, that wasn't good time.
I can't even think of her name right now, Rick. Right now, I'm so focused on this knotted up back that once existed 48 hours ago.
Yeah. You couldn't say, Dorita, I'm coming, my back's hurting.
No, I'm coming home, my back is hurting. Take me out back and just shoot me. That's what you feel like sometimes, Rick.
Right.
But like I said, it's not as bad because like I did get the sciatic nerve. Now, sciatic nerve is what I ended up getting.
I had a slight taste of that, but it didn't last real long. But people, it sounds like it's paralyzing.
Oh, it did. I had a couple of trips with that to the hospital. And I'm telling you, that sciatic nerve, it's like somebody got a knife. And you can't do it. You might as well just be shot. I mean, just pull it out back, bite down on a bullet, and just.
So, did you get in any kind of place where you were like inconvenient, and you had to get somebody to call, Dorita to call?
Yes, I mean, they had to get me. I was photoed like a yogi. One of those things, those men that get 8-foot men get in those little glass boxes, and the legs all bent up like a pretzel. That was me. I mean, my legs was contorted.
I'm sorry, I would be torn between compassion and concern with your pain. You'd
be feeling sorry. You'd be laughing because of my legs. You didn't realize, Herbert, your legs knew you're that flexible. Not on purpose. This yogi and his leg can get kind of sag nervous bite me, and I mean legs behind you.
Oh my gosh,
Rick, it's sweat and it's just. Man, it's miserable.
I can't. I don't want to laugh at it because I'm concerned it's going to end up happening to me if I laugh too hard at you.
And you would know. I mean, it feels just like somebody has got you and just. I feel like somebody had a voodoo doll just sticking a pin in my butt cheek and just. Ugh.
Like hooked a set of big vice grips up onto the muscle.
And there's nothing that you can do about it, Rick, but sit there and take it.
You can't take like a bunch of Advil or something?
Dude, I'm telling you, Advil at that point in time, what is Advil?
Well, okay.
I mean,
it's like M&M.
That's the point in time when you're going to need to probably go from there. And that's right. And that's what prompted me to go in and get this surgery because I refuse to go like that again. Man, I was crying just like my little young daughter would. Not really crying, but I wanted to. But since I was a man, and the girls were sitting there, Daddy, you okay? Yeah, I'm fine, baby. Just go and
go in the house and don't look at Daddy.
Yeah, no. And you sitting there crying behind their back, just whimpering back in the old days, and it's
kind of like what was it? Did you ever see that movie Dirty Rotten Scoundrels with Steve Martin?
I think I could have seen it.
Michael Caine, where he's acting like he's paralyzed, and Michael Caine's acting like the doctor that goes, "Well, I'm going to help you get unparalyzed," and they're trying to con some lady. And they're both trying to act out these parts, and he takes a big whip and starts beating his legs. And he's like, "Can you feel that?" And Steve Martin's going, "No."
You see the tears coming out
his face.
That's about the way I feel when those girls leave their room. I just turn face down that pillow, just sit there until I try to suffocate just to get it over with, Rick. But that right there, That's a miserable feeling for me. I think that, along with kidney stones, you might as well just.
Oh, thank God I hadn't had any of that.
I hadn't either, but I've had buddies that had, and it sounds
I've heard
about
tell.
neck and neck to make a grown man ball up and cry like a baby.
Yeah.
And I wasn't above it.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't. I wouldn't do well with that.
Oh,
Thankfully, I don't do that. Well, look, some of the folks said they enjoyed us talking about music stuff. I'm gonna play a little track for you. I've been working on.
I love to hear it.
Yeah, I'm pitching this to sports programming stuff. This is just a rock instrumental, but we'll get a little taste here. Let me see if I can get this thing to play right. That on some sports program stuff, hopefully.
Rick, y'all on to something. That beat, I love it. Like I said from the beginning.
That's my nephew Dustin. He's playing the drums on that. Did you already know that?
I think I heard Trish mention it at one time, but Dustin, he's got some talent.
Yeah,
it runs in that family.
Player,
that runs on.
Well, that's very kind of you. Yeah, so we're working on that, and I know your boy's working on some stuff too. I'm looking forward to hearing on that. But yeah, you were asking me like how do you begin to build something like that?
Man, that flow that you get, the things, y'all come up, putting a puzzle together, Rick.
There you go. That's probably not a bad way of pointing it out.
Right.
What typically I'll do is I'll goof around here with the guitar and come up with what they call a riff. Can you say riff?
Stand by. Riff.
There you go.
Riff.
That's right. Or a lick.
Lick.
So you come up with something that's just kind of a foundational piece, and you start building around it, and obviously you got changes and stuff you want to do with it. And then I'll let Dustin hear it, and he'll start working on his drum parts that'll match against it, or whoever your drummer is. And then of course the bass players they'll get the next piece, and so it's you're building a puzzle.
So everybody putting their parts together, and you're just building on from the initial
whatever the riff was.
Okay.
And it can be sometimes you write from drum beats first, or from bass parts first, or it's a vocal melody. Now, obviously, in this case, just being a rock instrumental, there's no vocals on that. But
and then with that, Rick, I mean, are you gonna take vocals with? I mean, because that's a nice beat. You know what I'm saying? Introduction, to like sports or whatever. I mean, it's just a nice. So are you gonna come up with the lyrics now to match to go along?
I'm not
with
gonna put any lyrics on that one. I want it to be specifically background music. Like when you're watching ESPN or something, or Fox Sports or something, you'll hear them talking and you'll hear music going in the background.
I got you.
That's kind of what I'm hoping to do. I've done several pitches with it, and I'm getting good responses, but not great responses. So I told you this is about the 5th mix in 2 years I've done on that song.
The greatness.
I think I'm done.
The greatness is coming, Rick. That hard work is going.
It is. It's been a grind, but that's kind of how you build especially like a rock instrument. And that's how I used to do most of our songs. We would come up with what we call just a chord progression, even if we're just sitting around with the acoustic or with piano, and get that foundation laid. And then you start singing over the top, or, if it's going to be a song with vocals.
So that's what, all right, so first you're going to come up with the rhythm, the beat, and then you come up with the vocals later to sort of, go
typically
along with
that's
it.
Been my experience. Now that's not everybody, and I have come up with a vocal melody alone first and had to build the rest of the music around it. I used to couldn't do that when I was a kid. It was too difficult for me to think, hey, well, I got this vocal melody out of nowhere. Now what chords do I put with it? I can do that now.
Right, because you get people, that do come and write songs, be in a deep sleep, all of a sudden they start getting this thing and wake up and start writing everything. And that's what I'm so impressed with, when when you come with these lyrics, is there also a beat going along with it when you know?
Yeah,
what?
see, I was trying to explain this to you last time. Part of the thing is you're taking, think about like your job. You've been trained to do certain things when it comes to paramedic work, and you've got a foundation of training. Well, learning my instrument, I've got a foundation of stuff. I know the chords, I know the keys, I know the scales, blah, blah, blah. I've learned all those pieces. If I wake up at 3 a.m. with a vocal melody in my head, I'll run them, get my little dictaphone, and get quiet where nobody can hear me, and I'll just put it down, and I'll check it later the next day or something and see if it's worth working on. So then what I'll do is come back and start going, all right, what chord, what rhythm was I hearing? Some of it, I can hear it in there. Some of it, I'll clap or tap the rhythm in there so I know kind of where I'm at. Sometimes it's just the vocal melody, and I'll have to then use my training to, how do you support that? Does that make sense?
I got you, yes. And I'm, like I said, I don't know if the older, but I love music, different types. And since you're a musician, I can come to you because you're an expert at your field now. And
Well, that's very kind of you.
Yes, you are, Rick.
Wouldn't say that, but
you are. You up there. And I just feel, like I say, it's just amazing to me the older I get, especially when people could have the talent to play with guitars, drums, and even the vocals to it. Is that talent? You know what I mean? It's something I wish I was born with the hat. Can I gain
some of that you work on too? I mean, you may have a minimal amount of talent, but you've built it up over the years. I mean, I'll look at certain superstars and I go, they're not the greatest singer, but they worked on it. I mean, listen, Madonna. I mean, I don't think she was the greatest singer. She just, worked her thing, and obviously she played up the whole
and worked the way up.
PR
I mean, it's
too.
PR and marketing. Like I said, if you got the money also to build with it, hey, there you go.
I mean, I think I mentioned last time. I mean, Tom Petty's not the greatest singer. I mean, he's got his own. He doesn't care. He's got millions of records sold around the world, but people like him for.
And they all got it. You got to start from somewhere, grind and build your way and work your way up.
So you learn the musical tools that you need, like what chords changes, what this, what scale works with this scale, with this chord, and all that kind of stuff. And then when you get those pieces that are like we call a divine download, now you can take that and build under it and build up above it. So that's kind of the idea on that.
And that's amazing, Rick. I mean, like I said, I look at musicians because I love a lot of different style of music. And can I learn to sing at the age of 46 now?
I don't know why not. Colonel Sanders didn't start Kentucky Fried Chicken until he was about 80.
I thought he was younger than that.
I think he was pretty old.
So I guess I got to dig into my subconscious mind to bring out my latent talents.
There you go, latent.
Okay.
I don't know which one it is. You
Latent
got me
talents.
confused.
I think it's latent. I just heard
Latent,
it
yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, check with Kalen. He's got some stuff going on. He can maybe help you out.
My son, yeah, he's got some type of little groove going. I told him to keep up with it in his rap music. So, and that's what come Ricky. I was like I said, it's networking.
Right.
I was going to send him to see what we can do, but he's got something going on. I was going to send him to you to see if you could hear the same thing that I'm hearing.
I'm looking forward to hearing it. Like I said, I use a handful of sites to pitch songs in, and they're always looking for hip hop and rap.
Man, so. I just hope he can do it because Daddy's broke.
That's right. That's your retirement plan.
Do it,
well,
Caleb.
I think my doggy here is looking like he's ready to go outside, so we're going to call this one a done deal too.
All right. Peace.
We hope you've enjoyed this week's Herb and Rick Social Hour.